realist, that's on me. I don't feel it, I just act like I never had feelings. All along I was up to my ceiling. Why you gotta be a realist, that's on me. That's on me. That's on me. That's on me.
Hey Amber,
Hey, what's up? How's it going?
what's good? I'm fine. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Chilling, chilling. Well, my special guest today is a musician I just recently got up on. And for those of you listening who've been rocking with Palm for a while now, you know I've had guests from all around the world, a few from LA, but this is the first time I have somebody from my home local area, Amber Ryann from Pasadena, California.
How's it going? What's up?
What's up? Yeah, so um you went to PHS. I have a lot of friends that went there, so we probably know some of the same people off rip
I'm sure.
for sure. So tell me about yourself. I know growing up as a kid wasn't easy for you, and you said you were bullied. So like, what was that like?
Um, what was that like? You just brought me into that headspace. I'm trying to even, I don't know, confusing. I think, being a kid in general is super confusing on top of like feeling like you don't belong someplace. It's a very like overwhelming time. The world feels, a lot smaller than it actually is. And I don't know, everything felt like the end of the world, growing up, like in high school, middle school, little things would happen. It just literally felt like every situation was the worst possible situation.
Yeah, I know. It sometimes a lot of pain can be kind of like magnified as a kid because you haven't figured out how to like deal with shit yet.
Yeah, for a fact.
Yeah.
For
Um
sure.
I know in those times you probably turned to music. And when I was reading through your bio, I saw your dad's producer. So did he turn you on to any good stuff, or how was that?
Not really. So like my dad was, it's funny because he was a producer and he would constantly be making music and stuff, but I had to like beg him to be like let into his world of music and see what he was doing and all that stuff. It was pretty much my mom that like gave me like a really good like sense of like good R&B and good oldies. Um,
Right, right.
yeah.
What types of stuff would your mom play for you?
She really likes Earth, Wind and Fire, Mariah Carey, um, just Shaka Khan. Like I'm trying to think of like all the old records she would be playing and like what she enjoys. Really loves Whitney Houston, just like stuff like that. So I kind of grew up around that.
I feel you. I feel you. Yeah, I feel like Mariah Carey's flow is really underrated. Cause like if you could like listen to her, I could tell she picked up a lot of game from like Bone Thugs and Harmony.
What, you really think so?
Yeah, yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, yeah. No, Mariah Carey to this day is undefeated. Very like influential in terms of like her sound to this day. I definitely think it sticks out.
Yeah. Another one of your big influences is My Chemical Romance. Amazing band, I gotta say. Three Cheers for Sweet Revenge is definitely a classic. So, like, what about My Chemical Romance like inspired you?
I don't. This was like when I first found them. This was like around the time I was like getting like massively bullied at school. Like to be honest, so like I remember I used to like I was talk about watching. When they had like Sucker Free Sundays and like music videos playing all day on MTV during the summer. Like I used to sit around and just like watch music videos all the time and I didn't have like any friends. Clearly, I didn't have anyone that wanted to be homies, and I just, I just remember feeling just massively alone and not being able to understand like what the meaning of me being around was, which is that's kind of dark. But I saw these dudes on the television and it's just kind of like clicked, like to have that feeling of like, I know, like from going to a place where you're completely lost and you're struggling with like not only your identity, but why you're being picked on or why you're being bullied. And then to like look on TV and see someone that you could identify with and you could kind of identify with that like story of being like an outcast. It inspired me heavily and like that emotion of feeling that relatability also like empowered me to want to enable other people to feel that way as well.
Right. I hear you. I mean, when you talk about like how you identify, you're biracial, correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, so was that like a challenge for you, like dealing with some of the stigmas that go with being a mixed kid?
I never like really recognized it as like being a challenge. I still kind of don't. I think I'm still sort of leaning towards recognizing it being more as like I do have more privilege in this day and age. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
I never really truly recognized it as a challenge. There is like definitely some internal conflict and like you don't fit in certain places, and like there's some senses of like colorism, especially like growing up in school. It was difficult, you know, like I bounced around a lot. So it was like one minute I was like at an all black school, which is like where I like kind of learned to fit in, but then the next minute I was like at an all white school with like super rich kids, and it was always conflicting, and I don't know if I could relate that to being biracial or just having a weird experience. I don't know.
You know what? I feel like I have a similar situation because I was one of the few black kids in my school. I went to a really small private school in Pasadena, and you know what? It's challenging, and I think we learn a lot about ourselves. But um, I won't get that off of it. But I mean, I definitely would have been your friend, like if I knew you watched Sucker Free Sunday, because I remember back then, and then they had on MTV2 video mods.
Yeah, yeah, I remember
Yeah.
that. And then I used to be obsessed with Pimp My Ride. That shit was I was obsessed with that show. But what school in Pasadena did you go to? The private one?
I went to Waverly.
Waverly. Okay, for sure, for sure.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know about it just because it's like so small, and then private school and public school are sometimes two different worlds.
Oh
It's like,
yeah, for sure.
yeah, I feel like Dina's just small in general, so like eventually everybody knows everybody.
Yeah, for a fact, that's like the truth. I always say like Dina is like tight knit. Like I'll just be like in Old Town randomly, and I'll like see people I went to high school with. Like it's like that for real. But
Always.
yeah, I'll
Yeah.
probably never be leaving Pasadena. So
That's how it is. I tell people Pasadena's like the Kansas of LA. Like nobody leaves. It's like a small Midwestern town.
yeah, but I like definitely find myself not wanting to leave. You know, I think being able to like settle down in Pasadena would be like a major flex for me.
Oh yeah, big
Yeah,
time major flex.
yeah.
Um, Speaking of another one of your flexes, I'm skipping around now, but William Sonoma. So I gotta ask, one, that's a very interesting flex because like when you make it super big, you say you want to fill your kitchen up with like appliances from William Sonoma.
Yeah, for a fact. Like that's like gonna be one of my biggest flexes is like my kitchen and stuff like that. Like I don't care about much else. I love cooking. I love the kitchen. I love kitchen appliances. So
Nice. I got this like really dope waffle iron from William Sonoma.
yeah, no, it's funny. I haven't bought anything from there actually.
Well,
I
I ain't get it. My mom got it, but
Oh yeah, but I mean, at least you have like one thing. Like I haven't gotten the chance to really buy anything from. It's super expensive. I used to go to this place in Pasadena called
yeah, in Old Town.
Yeah, I think it closed down, but that place is pretty tight.
Yeah. That place is cool. Okay, I was saving this question for last, but we got to get into it anyway since we're on that cooking tangent. So, if you were throwing a dinner party and you had to plan the first, second, and third course, what would you prepare?
Damn, that's like intense. That's intense. I always like to show off and make homemade pasta just because I'm like super enthralled by the fact that I by hand can make homemade pasta. So I'd have to throw that in there somewhere. Pretty good at making scallops. I could probably throw it on some scallops. And I have to like incorporate my mac and cheese some type of way. Like
Yeah.
I don't know how I do it yet, but mac and cheese is a must.
Yeah, I got to try that mac and grilled cheese sandwich you were talking about.
Oh yeah,
Now,
yeah. No, that smacks. That is like that's the meal that I have like when I'm like full blown stoned. Just like just just need to disappear in that meal.
Yeah, there's something about grilled cheese and quesadillas when you're super stoned that are just like, it's just the bomb.
Yep.
No doubt. All right, so back to growing up and like we talked about My Chemical Romance and stuff. Your sound, I love it because it's such a nice blend of like hip hop and alternative. So can you speak about like that moment where you kind of made them join hands?
It's kind of, it's just, it's hard because it's hard to explain. It's like I try to go in this direction. I find myself always kind of coming back to this center of like pulling both influences, and that's just purely out of like love and admiration for like both genres and just a ton of different genres, to be honest. Like I'm not really limited. I think it happens so unintentionally. I think that's the best way to put it. And anytime where it doesn't, like I guess like at the beginning of my career, like when I was really trying to like not necessarily like box myself, but I feel like everyone goes through like this period of like discovering their sound and really growing as an artist. And I was just so hard pressed on trying to make something sound a certain way. And like now I feel like I just like when I let it flow, like it just always ends up there. I don't know if that answers the question, but
I mean, it does because like quite frankly, today nobody wants to be boxed into one single genre.
yeah, no, it's way too fluid. Like, and the more I grow as an artist, the more I'm starting to recognize I'm like becoming the artist that I used to like look up to. Like some of my favorite artists, like a lot of those influences are really coming through now, and I'm just gonna like keep going with it, you know?
No, no doubt, definitely. So, when did you first pick up your first instrument?
I first picked up my first instrument when I was 10. My dad finally bought me a guitar because like he had this guitar. He only had one guitar laying around that he would use, and I would always be like, "Can I please use this guitar?" And of course, it's like an expensive guitar. It wasn't just like something I could beat up. So he'd like he'd lay it down on my lap, and I was maybe like, I don't know, 6 or 7. He'd lay it down on my lap and just let me like strum it pretty much, and he'd sit there and watch me play it. And then when I turned 10, he finally bought me like, dude, it was like some off-brand guitar from Costco, but you know, you didn't know if I was
Mm,
going to stick with it or not. But yeah, that was my first guitar when I was 10, and I just like literally been playing ever since.
right. So, at what point did you like want to take being an artist seriously?
I always knew, like, since the point like when I picked up my first guitar and I had started building all these influences, like when I was 10 years old, I really loved like Linkin Park and Franz Ferdinand, and then I later got into My Chem, and I kind of already knew by then. Like I already knew literally when I was 10, I was like, I want to do music, but that was as far as it went. Like I want to do music, I want to play guitar. Um, yeah, so I've literally been working at this since I was 10 years old, no cap.
I feel you. Am
Yeah.
I allowed to ask how old you are now?
Yeah, I'm 26 now.
For sure. When's your birthday?
June 12th.
Oh, for sure. You're a Gemini.
Yeah.
All right, cool, cool. How do you feel about being a musician today with, a solid fan base with all of the social justice issues going on from police brutality to the election this year and how COVID's disproportionately affecting like black and brown people?
Yeah. I feel it's more than ever it's really really important to put art out into the world during this time. Um, but not only just put out art, but also have like art that's like an imitation of life and its current stance. Like to me, that's important. I think more than ever, I've just decided no matter what happens, like I want to put art out into the world that I feel is important because that's like the artist that I used to look up to. And throughout every moment in history, like especially pivotal times, even like during the civil rights movement, there was always like art to back that up and like really fuel the fire on the ground. And so, I believe in this like more than ever. Like this is the best time to be in this because like this is what it's like all about. You know what I mean? Like so, yeah.
I agree. Yeah, this is the best time to be a creative and have a platform because, your voice can be heard and you can possibly go down in history.
Yeah, for a fact. And I think, more than ever, like people are really searching for like a sense of solace and even with an art, like they're searching for things that like help them make sense of the world around them. And in a world where we're like so disconnected, to have that relatability and connection to like an artist or an emotion or a feeling is like really important right now. Like that's how I know I'm getting through, is like by listening to artists that make me feel something right now, because I just like need that so desperately.
Right. During these difficult times, like who's aside from yourself, like are there any artists who've been like pushing you through this?
I've been like really heavily into Paris. Been listening to like a lot of Halsey. I'm just like a Halsey stan though, so
Mm-hmm.
that's what it is. I've been listening to this kid. I think his name's like Elko or Elk, something like that. But he has like a pretty nice discography. I like some of his acoustic tracks. Been listening to Thrice. That's like a
Yeah, yeah.
newfound kind of thing. I kind of like just started getting into them. Um, yeah, that's pretty much what I think is on my Spotify playlist right now.
That's cool. I'll have to go scope some of that Elko. I feel like I've heard the name, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, no, for sure. He's really tight. He literally sounds like Brendan Urie a little bit from Panic at the Disco.
Oh, okay.
That's his
Cool,
name,
cool.
Brandon Urie.
Yeah.
Yeah, he kind of sounds like him. He does like a lot of like weird trap stuff, but then he has like this really nice acoustic song that I just kind of like have on repeat right now. So
The show. And then with Thrice, like the only song I know is Image of the Invisible from the Tony
uh,
Hawk American Wasteland soundtrack.
yeah,
That
it's
shit
funny
slaps
because
still.
I literally just found out a couple of months ago. I guess Gerard Way was like involved in that video. Like I don't know, he like wrote something or did something. Maybe I'm getting the information wrong, but yeah.
Okay.
I'm listening to like I listened to like one of their most recent albums, Thrice, actually, and there's a song called The Dark. It's like very like relative to like what's going on, but they kind of always are. And I just like really respect, like I have a best friend that's like super into them, and he's like a constant reminder. Like he's a music fanatic. So like if you wanted to study like what an actual music fan is like a fanatic, someone that like buys the merch, buys the tickets, buys the memorabilia type shit. He's like that type, and he constantly is a reminder of how important it is to like connect with your fans, and like that's what Dustin from Thrice does like so heavily on a like ongoing basis. So
Yeah. Yeah. No doubt. So gotta ask about your song, Brand New Whip, B&W. So if you copped a brand new whip tomorrow, what you copping?
oh man, I would have said a Tesla, but those consumer reports came back and I'm not feeling that vibe. So but it would definitely be like something electric for sure. I think I'd go with electric just because I'm trying to be eco conscious, or maybe like a Supra. You know, the Supras just came out.
I'm not really a car guy, but I just kind of wanted to
Okay.
know like what your taste was.
Yeah, no, I'm a car person. Me and my dad like go to the car shows every year, and I
Nice.
love cars. Love cars.
Yeah. Now I appreciate like something dope when I see it. And then there's a
Yeah,
lot of like Teslas that people ride around in Pasadena.
yeah, for sure. I'm into like the whole like Tesla thing. I mean, when I test drove a Tesla. I thought it was pretty cool, but I don't want like a piece of shit car, you know.
Yeah. Okay. Cool, cool. So my favorite song by you, or pretty much favorite song in general right now, is That's On Me. So I want to know like the
Hmm.
backstory to how that one came to be.
For sure. So, I was just kind of like writing this song from a place of like, you know, I'm very like self-critical. Sometimes I could be like my own worst enemy, and you know, being in this industry, it literally does shit to you that's like psychological. You know what I mean? Like you just it's hard to like trust people for one, but I feel like a lot of that distrust in other people could be kind of toxic too, to the
Hmm.
point where it's like, you know, if like I don't know, if you're gonna like feel that ostracized or like isolate yourself that much, like at some point it's kind of like all on you. Like that's what I was kind of saying. Like it's on me at some point. I'm kind of like self-destructing by like having
Hmm.
this mentality of like I can't trust anybody. Like y'all are all trying to fuck me over. Like you know what I mean?
No, yeah, I know what you mean. I know what you mean. It's kind of sticky, you know, in the music industry because I feel like people are so friendly And this
Mm-hmm.
is, at the end of the day, it's still, very much a business.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
and it's weird when, like, everybody wants to be down, and everyone's dapping, and there's always drinks, there's always weed around, and it's just like you don't know whether what somebody's in game is. I really felt that line when you said I can't trust if everybody's genuine.
Yeah, yeah, for a fact. That's how it feels. I think like my biggest thing, like I was telling the dude from Swide Life, the Swide Life magazine, like I was saying the same thing. Like you see these same people like you're having conversations with, and they might be like talking bad about someone else, and then you see them in like the same room with that same person the next week, and you're just like,
Mm,
bro, what the fuck? Like that's just kind of like the culture, I guess, to an extent.
yeah, yeah. The other song I've been bumping by you a lot is "Fucked Up." So what was going on at that time?
Damn, yeah, that's such an old track. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure. I was just like I was working like a job that I hated, pretty much the typical artist story, working in a job that I hated, tired of people sleeping on me. It's like so weird when I like hear a lot of these older tracks because like I feel like throughout all the growth and like where I am now, like I would have never been ready to like really blow up like I wanted to back then.
Yeah. Hey, what was the job you were working at the time?
I was working at Guitar Center.
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
I was working at Guitar Center. Yeah, that job was pretty tight though. I'm not gonna talk shit about that job. Working like a job where you're like under any type of boss sucks. It really does suck. But I think Guitar Center was my best like day job for sure. Chillest day job. As
That
chill as
sounds
it's gonna
perfect for
get.
you, low key. It sounds like everybody
Yeah.
there's a musician too.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. I think, it's weird working at Guitar Center because like everyone's a musician, but not everyone's like a working musician or like trying to like fulfill that as a career. So I feel like a lot of people are just fucking salty. Like you're always gonna have some fucking boss that's like not letting you get off work if you have a show because they're just fucking salty that they like gave up their own dream. Like that's like the vibe at Guitar Center for sure.
Yeah, yeah, no, I hear you. But I don't know. I mean, it's still working retail, but I guess you get the
Yeah.
experience. But hey, you're past that now, so that's that. All right.
Yeah.
So this year you dropped an EP called "A Call to a Friend." So you want to tell me like what's that all about?
The title just kind of came from, like, I don't know. I have like a lot of really close friends in my life, and I'm like the type person I suppress a lot of emotions and shit, but when it comes to like at the end of the day, when you need somebody, it's just like a call to a friend, it's like a release of your emotions, like just being open and honest with the people in and around your life has always kind of been my motto. So that's kind of like where the title came from.
Hmm. Yeah, I guess it's always good to have somebody like you can just be open with and like be transparent with.
For sure, for sure. I thought of like the EP as just like I try to put it in the context of like conversations I've had with friends, like in terms of like topics and just like the subject matter and stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah, I definitely feel that like conversations with friends can be like really inspiring.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So come over sober. I was really curious about this one because I don't really see on your page like you using a lot of drugs or listen to a lot of like drug embracing in music. I kind of saw one picture of you maybe hitting a blunt, but like, yeah, yeah. So I was kind of wondering like what was going on with that one.
Yeah, I think it's just, I've one thing about being, I feel like an efficient songwriter is being able to reflect and kind of like write about situations that maybe aren't like very like relevant to like the current, but that song in particular was about like a abusive relationship that I had left like years ago. This was a really actually a tremendously pivotal moment in my life, and I was in a completely different place. Like I, at some point like was using a lot of drugs and like was kind of going off the deep end, and that kind of really had to do with this huge identity crisis that was followed by leaving a super tumultuous like toxic relationship. Like so yeah, I guess that's where that came from.
Yeah, I see that. I was kind of curious because, Lil Peep had the same album title, Come Over When You're Sober,
Mhm.
or not exactly the same, but you get what I mean. I was wondering if he had any like play on that.
Yeah, so it was funny because like when that dropped, Lyrical Lemonade like ended up like retweeting it, and then like all the Pete fans were like, "What the fuck, yo? She's like stealing this shit." I'm like, "Damn, I didn't even know." Like, and I like Lil Peep, like, but I'm not like a fan. You know what I mean? I never really got like deep into it. It has nothing to
Mhm.
do with whether I think he's great or not, because I think he's dope. But yeah, I didn't even know. So it would just happen to be kind of a coincidence.
Yeah, interesting. I mean, it's unfortunate that that happens, and rest in peace, Pete, because he was a palm reader, and I really was into his music, but it's just crazy, to see like how dedicated somebody's fan base is, like when
Yeah,
they
for
come
sure.
out of
I
the
don't I
woodwork.
don't even knock it, you know what I mean? Like I'm not even gonna ever be like disrespectful about it, but
Yeah,
I guess just for the record, it's like that wasn't, intentional. But I definitely respect like the, respect for his work and his art and,
yeah.
you know.
The haters are just like fans in disguise. You know that
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
word. So a thing you talk about a lot is in your music is being relatable. Like, tell me why is that like valuable to you?
It's tremendously valuable to me because I'm not like just like writing music for myself, you know what I mean? Um I'm writing music that I hope like other people could like conceptualize in a very real way. Even if I guess I am writing a little bit different, but I guess that's kind of subjective too. So
Yeah, yeah, I can feel that, but like I don't know, being relatable is very valuable, at least to me, um, the way I see it. But
yeah.
I don't know who would want to be like unrelatable or just like so I'm just so high up on a cloud that like nobody can touch me.
Well, I feel like that's just like I don't know. I guess I don't know when I say like relatable, a lot of like pop culture to me has always felt very like ostracizing to be 100%. Like I can't, I like all these like flexy moments and like you we're like into like this escapism culture really. That's what pop culture is. You're living vicariously through other people and like you want what other people want and but like to a certain extent when it comes to like art that I'm really seeking, I've never like I just kind of feel ostracized by that like topic 24/7. Like it's for a certain mood. So I guess when I said relatable, it was like I kind of just wanted I don't know. I wanted people to feel like I was on every same level that they are. I kind of want to feel approachable, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. It's interesting because you actually made me look up a word I've heard before, but I didn't know the definition of ostracizing.
Cool, cool. I'm waiting for the day someone's just gonna check all the words I'm using, and I'm so scared I'm gonna like use
Yeah,
words the wrong way.
for that genius write up, that
I know,
genius
right?
lyrical breakdown. Okay. Let's talk about something off topic. You like to go bowling, huh?
Yeah, yeah. I haven't been in a long time. It just made me really sad, but I really,
Yeah,
really, I love to go bowling.
yeah, because of COVID. In the before times, would you hit up what's it called, Bolero in Pasadena at Hastings
No,
Ranch?
that place is expensive as hell. Every time, and it's funny because they like keep replacing it with just like a
Yeah,
more expensive bowling alley. No, I would go to like some rundown fucking bowling alley in Temple City. Like I'm not
no, or
trying
it's
to
all
pay
about
those
what's it
prices.
called, Red Dragon Lanes at Eagle Rock.
Yeah, I haven't been there either. I've go to like this. I forgot what it's called. Nah, I'm not gonna remember. It's just like some bowling alley in Temple City. But like, if you go to like an actual bowling alley where people are taking shit serious, it's not as expensive. Like, people are like practicing, competing. AMF and like Bolero or Bolmore, those are kind of like
Yeah,
family places, and they're kind of like gimmicky. Like, it's funny because like me, my sister, and my dad will go bowling and we've like had to end up at like AMF and then like there'll be a point where it's like happy hour and they'll like turn the lights off and turn the music on and we're like bro
yeah,
we're like the only people that are like not having a good time because like we're taking it dead ass serious like we're
yeah.
competitive.
Like y'all are
So
trying to bowl, and then they're just trying to make it like a club for people just who want
exactly
something to do.
exactly
Nah, that's crazy. I only like go bowling like, you know, occasionally at birthday parties and shit. But like I
Yeah, it's
used
usually
to
like one of those things.
yeah, I used to really like the Wii Sports bowling.
Yeah, Wii Sports used to be my jam too.
Yeah.
Back when I was at Guitar Center, that's one thing everyone wanted to go bowling like after work and shit, and I would literally like, I don't know, I was just like so like not embarrassed, but I was just like so coy about the fact that I like really be bowling serious that I was like not really trying to play. You know what I mean? Like,
She's like, all right, y'all, I'm gonna bowl y'all up. Don't
I
mess with
know
me.
for real.
No doubt. Okay, so who's your dream collab?
Ugh, I think it's really hard to say. I'm like, I've just been so heavily inspired by Paris the bands that I would just like love to work with, you know, Lynn Gunn or like any of the writers of like their recent album. I think I become like so heavily infatuated with like writers of certain albums, and I'm like wondering who wrote this and who produced this. And I think more than any artist, I'd really like to collaborate with some writers and you know, other producers and stuff.
Interesting. You know, you don't do a whole lot of features, so I was kind of curious to like, are you just kind of like more of into your solo work, or like what's the story behind that?
I think it's just like, you know, when like the opportunity presents itself, it'll make sense. I think what I'm more invested in, like more than anything, because I feel like a lot of features nowadays are predominantly like strategic rather than like fueled by the integrity of the record, really. And I feel like
Yeah,
the way I work is really opposite. Like I the only reason I'd want to feature is because I'm like, it would sound so good if this person was like on this record, rather than, you know, like let me get like this person on the record and it's gonna just pop, you know.
yeah.
I just kind of don't want to go about it that way, but I'm definitely open to features. I think it just has to make sense. And to be 150% honest, I'm just gonna put it out there. Like a lot of the features I've tried to get, like people don't want to work. Like that's okay too. You know what I mean? So I feel like it's just the opportunity hasn't presented itself.
Yeah, I mean, every time I have an artist in here and we talk about features, I feel like this is a little more complicated than meets the eye. Just
Yeah, for
how,
sure. I mean, haven't you ever like heard a song like particularly like major label records and shit where like you hear a song, it's fucking popping, and then there's like a feature on it that makes no sense, and you're like, that ruined the whole track.
yeah.
Yeah,
Speaking of which, you're still independent, right?
yeah, that I am.
Yeah, so have any labels tried to throw anything at you, or have you sat down with any people?
Yeah, yeah, I've had a lot of encounters as of so far.
You think you're gonna stick independent?
I think it depends on circumstances. I don't know. I feel like every artist is different. The needs are different. Yeah, that's so hard to say. You know what I mean? I don't have like a, it's funny because I don't have like this super like, I don't know. I'm not like trying to be like, oh, independent everything, let's go. I think everything has to make sense. It just has to make sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, yeah, I get what you mean. It all has to make sense. I don't really know what else to add to that. Okay, so all right. I know you probably get this one all the time, but like, what is it like being a woman in the music industry? Like, how do they treat you, and like, do you feel like there's a weight on your shoulders?
Mm. So like I had someone ask me this in an interview maybe like a couple years ago, maybe like 3 years ago, completely different headspace. And I don't know. Now I'm kind of seeing the blatant misogyny in the industry. Like, not that I'm super complaining about it, but I could 150% say with confidence, you know, I haven't been invited into certain rooms because I'm a female. You know, like I know for a fact, like that's the truth. There's like a certain like misogyny in the industry. There especially aren't a lot of women producers. Like it's kind of still a man's world or whatever. Do I feel like that's a major setback? No, because it's definitely encouraged me to push way harder. I mean, like if I would have like had the first door held open for me when I asked to be let in, then I probably wouldn't be encouraged to perfect my craft 10 times over. And like that's the way that I have to like think about it. Like I have to work, if I have to work like 20 times harder than any male peer I may have just to prove myself, or like whatever, then that's just what it is. But that's only going to benefit me. And at the end of the day, like, I'm going to feel so confident in what I do that I would just be undeniable. You know what I mean? That's the way I have to look at it.
Yeah, it really is. It starts and ends with confidence.
Yeah, no,
That's
you can't, especially in this industry, you cannot be the type that's like, this person's here because of this person's here because of that. Like, I don't look as good as that person, so I'm not here. I don't have as much money as this person. I'm a female. Like, if you put the excuses like ahead of like your own work, it's just not going to work because no one cares. Like, you know what I mean?
yeah. It kind of just makes me sad though that you said like you're not able to enter some rooms because you're a woman.
Yeah, no, I think there's, I don't know, like, if, how to like put that into further context, but I'm sure the more females you interview, especially if you interview any female singers, songwriters, um, producers, especially, bro, producers, engineers, like,
Yeah.
it's unreal. It's really
Well,
unreal.
including you now, the last three guests I've had on here have been women. Last three
Mhm.
out of four guests I've had on here have been, and it's kind of been a mixed response so far. But I definitely want to have more, like just to see. I've had interviewed a few female artists and other creatives on here, but yeah, I don't know. I just always got to ask that question because it's often a different response, but it's often the same response.
Yeah, definitely. I'd be curious. Yeah, I'd definitely be curious to hear what the responses are. And I don't know. I also feel like there's like a little bit of like, not like misogyny, but there's like, it's harder to be embraced like in hip hop, like as a female, like if you're not like Cardi B or like Meg the Stallion, you know what I mean? You're just like automatically categorized as like
Yeah,
pop music, or like, I experienced that a lot too, just like a lot of not embracing a different sound, and it's like automatically like, oh, this is, I don't know, soft pop or something weird. I don't know. It's weird.
yeah, I hear that all the time. Like women say, like, oh, if I'm not shaking my ass, I don't get the same like clout and the same views that a Meg, a Nicki, or a Cardi would get.
Yeah, no, I don't even think it's like really about like the. I get what you're saying by that, and I get that statement. Um, yeah, I don't know if it's like really like the whole, that whole thing, like the image thing, or if it's like a sound. I don't know. Who knows?
Yeah, who knows? It's like a lot of this shit is trial and error.
Yeah, for real.
Okay, all right. Well, Amber, you want to play a game called Rapid Fire?
Yeah, yeah,
Let's
sure.
do it. All right. First thoughts when you wake up.
Coffee,
Favorite food.
pizza,
Favorite drink.
sparkling water.
Favorite time of day.
10 a.m.
Best concert you've ever been to.
Sam Smith.
If not music, what would you be doing?
I would for sure. I think I would be a chef. Dang, I don't know.
I can see that. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
another food question I wanted to ask you. Would you ever at some point be interested in doing like content segments based on cooking?
Yeah, bro, that's definitely a dream. If I ever have time to do it, I'll for sure do it. One thing I'm like doing right now is like I'm putting all my recipes into a book, because like at some point I want like a cookbook, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Like a foodie cookbook.
No, that would be fire. Yeah, I could see you doing like a little like Action Bronson type of thing where you're like chefing it up and then playing like new songs.
Yeah, no, that'd definitely be tight.
Okay, cool. Hot or cold?
For what though? Outside?
No, just in general.
Just in general. Probably cold.
Cold. All right, cool. All right, and last but not least, oh wait. What do you have planned next? Like, what's coming next from Amber Ryan?
Just a lot of new music, and a lot of really great new music that I'm like very, very, very proud of. So
Great new music for sure. I'm ready for it. So looking forward to it
for sure.
for sure. Hey, what's the tat on your neck?
It says carry the flame. It's kind of, it'd be hard for you to see, but that's actually based on like the My Chemical Romance Helena video. It's
Really?
like the first video of theirs that I saw that like incited this like sense of like purpose in me, I guess. So like carry the flame, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah. Um, no, I hear you. Every time I listen to their song "The Ghost of You," the beat
Mm.
just sounds like you could almost rap to it.
Yeah, no, they're something else. It's funny because when I worked at Guitar Center, when I worked at Guitar Center, actually, Ray Toro, the guitarist, came into the store and I was helping him like buy an interface or something like that. And I was starstruck the entire time, bro. I told him, I was like, oh my God, like your music changed my life. Like you're the reason why I'm in music for the first place. And he's just like, yeah, that's cool. I was just like, damn. Well, he like did not care.
Yeah, you know, it's kind of weird. They say like don't meet your idols because I've met a few like people I really look up to, like Tyler the Creator and Adam 22 and a couple other rappers, and it's like it's been a little weird, can't lie, but like hey, whatever, keep it moving.
Yeah, yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
I don't think you should have idols, but like, and sometimes I'm kind of like, I believe in giving them their flowers while they can smell them. Like, if you fucks with somebody really hard and you have the chance to like say it, just say it. But sometimes people be reacting so weird.
Yeah, no, I think yeah, I don't get it either, but I'm like not to that point where like I have like a whole bunch of people telling me that. So I guess I don't know. If you've had like thousands of people up in your face like, "Oh my God," like I'm sure like at some point you'd be like, "All right," you know what I mean? Maybe.
Yeah. Have you had like some fan encounters of your own?
Just a couple, but they're always weird. Like I've had like maybe one person that was like, "Oh my God, you're this person. Like, let's take a picture." And then other times, mainly, it's just people that'll be like, they'll DM me on Instagram, like, "Oh, yo, I just saw you here. I just saw you there." And then I feel kind of weird. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
That's so
then it's
weird. I
like,
just saw you in line at Starbucks. Why didn't you say hi, motherfucker?
yeah, no. Then it's like, who are you? Where are you? How do you know it's me? But yeah, no, just like small encounters like that.
Yeah, no doubt. Okay. Cool, cool. All right. Last but not least, why should people care about Amber Ryan?
Why should people care? That's so difficult. I don't know. I don't feel like people listen to here's the thing. I feel like people are either gonna like love me or hate me. I'm not artist. Like I can't be meeting you in the middle, you know what I mean? But like I don't feel like people like listen to me for me to like care about me. I feel like you listen to me for like you know what I mean? Like I'm not only developing myself, but like I have a community of like fans that genuinely give a shit, and that's on their own accord. I can't change that, you know what I mean? Besides like continuing to put out what I put out and continuing to care about what I put out. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I kind of think the same way because like these songs become like part of the soundtrack to your life, and it's like it kind of carries you through to whatever you're getting through. But it's like I think
yeah,
people could just simply care for the fact that like you're dope, and if you're making something dope that like improves somebody's life, like
yeah, yeah, for sure, for sure. I
yeah.
appreciate that too.
All right, cool. Anything else you want to add to the people out there? Anybody you want to shout out or thank?
Just want to thank my team at Major Stage, as always, Marco, Miguel, Gannon. They're literally everything to me, to be honest. They're the best team I've ever had. Super blessed to have them. And then, of course, like all my fans, like it's getting serious. You know what I mean? Like everyone that's rocking with me, like whether it be from like yesterday, the day before, months ago, or like I've people that have been with me for like 5 years. Like I appreciate that to the fullest. Everything counts. So just thank you for that.
All right, cool. Well, Amber, thank you so much for joining me on PALMCAST. This was real cool.
For sure, bro. How much did it cost you to get that little custom mic?
Oh, not that much.
Oh, okay.
This was only a few bucks on Amazon, and then you could
Nice.
go on Vistaprint and then order the stickers.
Nice. All right. I'll keep that in
Yeah,
mind.
cool, cool. Anyway, everybody, my name is Dylan, but most of y'all just know me as Palm. You can check us out at prettyawesomelitmusic.com, YouTube, Instagram _PA.LM, SoundCloud.com/prettyawesomelitmusic, as well as Facebook and Twitter.com/Dylan is Palm. Amber Ryann, thank you so much for coming to chill with me, and
All right, bro.
hope to meet you soon since you're close.
Yeah, man, let's definitely stay in touch. Like, you know, the Pasadenians need to stick together, you know. It's a... All right, bro.
Dina, ride or die. All right,
Yep.
sister, take it easy. Peace.
All right, later. Bye.